Greetings, everyone. So what we're going to do here is play a little Texas Hold'em. If you're new to Texas Hold'em, this is a really easy game, in my opinion, to pick up. So just go with it. And what we're going to do, this is for play. This is not real money because I live in a state that doesn't permit that. But there are states like, I believe, Nevada, I definitely know for one, you can actually play online. And I believe Jersey as well. And anyway, I'm here. This is my little avatar, and I should have a little picture in the screen. But anyway, we're gonna get started. We're here for the next hand. I will be explaining some of the best hands in poker as we go along, and we're just gonna play a few rounds just to kind of get this started and everything, and give you a little bit of information about me. I've been playing poker off and on since 2004. I met some people when I was in the math department at WVU. Texas Hold'em had become really popular at that time. It was always on ESPN. So anyway, I wasn't an early adopter, but I was kind of on that first wave, if you will, whenever, Phil Ivey and Daniel Negreanu were definitely becoming household names, at least in the poker community. Anyway, so I used to play online for money back in the day. Back in those days, you could actually do that legally. Well, legally is a loose term. It just wasn't illegal. It, of course, became illegal. Anyway, I'm calling on this. Obviously, 10 Jack, they're not suited, but we do have an opportunity possibly for a straight. We'll see what the flop has to show. Well, that's not the worst, right? We have now top pair of tens, and we have a 9, so we're kind of, possibly building straight. Very unlikely, though. And, alright. You know what? I'm going to go for it. Alright? So, if I were sitting at a real table playing either, at a simple, just buy in as you go, oh, I really don't like seeing 3 hearts out there. Wow. Okay, this is not a good day for this. But that person got a little freaked out by it, or they're slow playing it. So I'm actually going to do something crazy. I'm going to go all in, see if I can chase these people out and steal the pot. So that person either was going to slow play, hoping to trap me, or, well, okay. So they weren't slow playing, but they were playing that 10 a little hard, especially with that really low deuce kicker there. That's pretty, non-essential. As you can see, I had a jack, so of course I'm going to win because that's a higher card than a 2. So, alright, good enough. Good for us. Sometimes you have to take chances. Well, actually, oftentimes you do in poker. And, and things like that. Sometimes you have to kind of trust your gut. But we're going to talk a little bit about game theory. We're going to talk about, the new school versus old school kind of ways that has become kind of the new lexicon. I like watching Daniel Negreanu and his explanations of it. And it's really interesting because I think I always came at it with a new school kind of attitude because of being in the math department and in statistics, game theory, and all those other types of things. I always was just exposed. We're going to drop that down. I'm going to fold that. I mean, even though we do have 2 chances for a straight, either a 2 or a 7, I'm just not feeling very lucky at this present moment. And yeah, so we'll see how it pans out for us. And anyway, so I always thought, back in the day when I would watch some of these people play, I was like, wow, it's kind of crazy. It was a little too, reading people's poker faces. I don't really have a poker face, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm going to look just as sad if it would have pocket aces, or just as happy. It just doesn't matter. And I have played in a casino. I have played in Vegas. I have played in Atlantic City. I've played in New York, in Seneca, and I've been into a Harrah's down in Cherokee, North Carolina, but I didn't play any table games at the time. Just stopped in for a little bit recently when I was on a trip to Great Smoky Mountains. My other big activity of what I like to do is be outside as much as possible, including hiking and whitewater rafting and things of that nature. So, down there getting some hiking in. No rafting this time, but that's another thing. Now what we have here, we have a pair of 10s. We have the 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we get a jack or a 6, we have a straight. We have a rainbow setup out there, so we're not worried about any flushes at this point. So it would be, in my opinion, very foolish to throw that hand down when we're dealing with top pair, not the worst kicker, And we do have an outside straight draw. So 2 opportunities there. And at this point, we're not really worrying about any flushes. Oh boy, I'm going to do it. This person plays really loose, and that helps me 0. Except for it gives me 2 pair. But now, anybody that has a 6 or a jack, I am done. And so that is, oh gosh, I'm going to call, but I think I'm being really stupid when I do this. Really hate to see the outcome of this. Wow, she plays ridiculous. No offense. And that's also, you can kind of see how the players are playing, which is why I went with that, because I realized that this person will really bet heavy when they don't really have much. And we did have a decent hand. Of course, we had a lot to be afraid of with that strong possibility of a straight up there. Now what we have here, this is a really good hand for us. We have Jack 4 of hearts. And we have 2 hearts out there. And 2 of them, the only thing that, like, say if we get another heart, of course that's still, you know, we still have 2 chances, right? We've got the turn in the river. And it'd be great to see the king come out there, because then we would have the not flush. But even still, it's not bad. And we're still dealing with a straight draw too. So if we do get a king, we are solid. If we get a heart, we're solid. So those are the 2 options. And doesn't matter, king of hearts works, or king of any color, or any heart. So I'm going to call this, because we got it. So this is great. So we have the best hand. Right now, I am going to bet at this, and I'm going to go half pot. I mean, well, could have gone less. I mean, the only persons at the table will actually have less than that. But regardless of which, we'll see if we can get someone to go all in on this. We have that person over there. But unless they have a jack, which they might, then we'll split the pot. I'm going to win. So, all right, good enough. Very good. Now, had I realized that he already had 9,000, I would have bet less. But really wasn't paying attention to exactly what his chip stack was. So, alrighty then. Okay, we have Jack, King, they're offsuit. Let's just throw some money out there, see what we can get. I'm not the biggest fan of Jack King, my thing. And I always seem to get busted up on Ace Jack, so I'm really against that hand. But you'll see some of my hands I play and you'll go, why do you do that? But I just like them, so it is what it is. But this isn't turning out too well. We have a rainbow on the flop, and I've top pair with King Kicker, so this is good so far. Obviously, no guarantees in life. Anybody can have pocket 7s, could have pocket 3s, that therefore have a set. Someone could have Jack 7, have 2 pair. Some people could have an overpair. I don't think so. People really didn't bet at the, pre-flop. So we're going to bet this a little bit, and let's just go half pot 350. See if we can get a little bit of takers. Hopefully, we don't see an ace or something come out. That's not going to really help us at all. But unless it's an ace and a queen. Well, that's not going to help us. What am I talking about? Shh. Don't talk. Okay, so 4-6 pieces, because there's a straight there. And, of course, there's that heart flush draw out there. If someone has 2 hearts underneath and another one comes up, that would be problematic. I'm just going to bet half pot again. Still thinking that I have a pretty confidently good hand at this present moment. So we will see what happens. And I'm going to try to go over to the rules thing. So in another video, I will go through the exact details. 6-8 beats me too, but a lot of things actually could. Let's just go for it and see what happens. I'm definitely not going to lay this down at this point. 2 pair, you got to be kidding me, like, seriously. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some. And didn't think it was a strong hand, but, it all works. So what are we reading on this? This at Casino World. I'm not saying I'm promoting these at all. I'm not. It's just where I started playing. For fun, for practice, things of that nature. Anyway, wow, we have nothing, so we are absolutely going to fold this down. I mean, check it, of course, if no one bets anything, we won't stay in it. Maybe we'll get lucky and get 2 running queens or something like that and pull out a full house. I mean, now we do have 2 pairs, so that's at least good. And, I would like, if we could see another queen out there, that would be okay. Then we would definitely win, and it would be great. So we're going to call 400 just for the hay of it, you know what I mean? Definitely concerned out there for someone having a 3, having a set that's going to beat my 2 pair. And now obviously concerned about ace 5, that'll give them a straight. Also concerned about 5-6 would give me a straight. Give them a straight, not give me anything. Totally was worried about that, and that's what got us. So it is what it is. Playing, a little loose right now, which is fine. Sometimes if I get a little bit higher up, you can afford to do that, take a little more chances, and things of that nature. So it depends on, kind of how you can be depending on the chip stacks, how much other people have as well. And, think about those things if you're going into a tournament or, sitting down at just a buy-in table or something like that, or if you're just playing for fun. Here we have nothing. So it is what it is. We are going to, we'll check it, of course. But then we were just going there. And alrighty, we're going to go to the rules for a second. So if you go here, this wants to not hold this up here, but just check it out for a little bit. And that will give you the idea. I will go over the winning hands in order and what beats it, and obviously be discussing it as I go along. So I'm out of this hand, but what can we have here? There's definitely 2 potential flush draws. Of course, if a spade comes, then there's a possible flush out there. There's a club, so we have a club flush that's possible out there. You also have a potential full house, and that's, of course, a set, 2 pair, top pair, things of that nature. Obviously, we already have a pair, so if no one had anything else, they would, of course, at least have, that pair, and then whoever had the best top cards after that. All right, so we have ace-2 offsuit. So we're gonna play. I like playing them more when they're suited. I don't really like playing ace with a low card when it's not. I like when it's suited because I have a chance for a flush. But the thing that I do like with the ace and anything to a 5, if it's not suited, there is a potential for the straight. Now this, of course, we have a paired ace, but this is not a hand that I feel very confident in because, and I probably should just fold, because 3 diamonds out there, I have no diamonds, that looks like a flush, and I'm gonna just, the odds, now, come on now, seriously, I'm very happy I laid that down, because the odds of someone having 1 diamond are very, very high, and, that would mean that I lose. Now, of course, we did have the 2 pair, which would have been, bad for me, if the ace would have come up or another 2, then I would have, folded the full house, of course, before it happened. But of course, it has a king of diamonds. He's out. Now, he, kind of sad for him, he had both of the diamonds already. So you have to look about that, think about what the other people could be having. Don't think about your cards, think about what they could have, what the potential is, and if that beats you, don't fall in love with your cards. I see so many people, they have like pocket pairs, and they flop a set, and they won't let them go. And they're just like, I have a set, I flopped a set, it's like the best day of my life. And, it's an obvious flush out there, potential, straight, and they will just hold on to it to the end, and you gotta let the cards go. Don't fall in love with your hands. There will always be new cards. Just give a minute, there'll be another round, okay? So, that being said, we will talk a little bit. In this video, in the future, we won't talk so much about, like, telling you what the, things are, per se. But I just want to talk about what this is. A little button here, the dealer button, because you figure this dude obviously isn't dealing. And we're going to fold this because we have nothing. And anyway, so what that is, it just moves around. And if you were playing like a home game, that person would be the in fact dealer. And they would just pass the button around. And, of course, you're going to be passing or going around the table. That's the way we go. And then this person here, this guest 529, he would be the small blind. So he, this is the 50, 100 table. So the small blind is 50. We'll call them dollars. But just call them dollars. Just dealing with chips. But and then, so now he's the button. So let's just go with it at that. And I'm the big blind. So this guest 180. She's the small blind. So she has to put up 50. I have to put up 100. Now these people. This is the first position, and what the hey. We'll play. He gets you know, the first opportunity to whether he's in at 100, he can always have the option to raise above that as well. I mean, it is no limit. You can go completely all in from the beginning if that's what you choose. Probably not a good idea pre-flop to go all in unless you have a really good hand, or, you know, there's a lot of reasons to do that in some circumstances, but you have to kind of think about the different circumstances. How many people are at the table? What kind of hand do you have? Are you short stacked? You know, what the other people at the table have, how much they have, etc. You know, are you just trying to steal the blinds? Or it's possible, you know. Now we're gonna get out of this because we really don't have much chances for anything. I mean, yeah, we have 7, 8, 9, but we'd have to get a 5 and a 6, or, you know, a 6 and a 10. Those are really our only two options. And when a board rather pairs up with a 7, you got that potential, you know, full house you're against. You can't win there. There's a couple straight possibilities here, or at least one straight possibility. No, actually a couple, depending on what you had. So anyway, that's just time to get out of that one. So it's pretty cool that they tied, so they split the pot. Okay, we are the small blind, so 50 up here. I'm gonna have to call another 50 to be in this hand, and the big blind disappeared. How it happens sometimes virtually, right? They just go away. Anyway, that being said, so we'll see what we got going on here. Play a couple more rounds, and then I'm gonna have to go. I have to lead a nature walk tonight. Oh yeah, I do that too. So, how do you like my geeky computer glasses? Bought them at Walmart. What you gonna do whenever you're like driving the Blue Ridge Parkway and it's 10 o'clock at night and you're old like me and you need some reading glasses? You go to Walmart. Where else are you gonna go? Not much else in Boone, North Carolina at that time. And for all those people out there from Boone, North Carolina, it's a very nice town. Very much enjoyed my sleepover in Boone, North Carolina, en route to Asheville and onward to the Great Smokies. So anyway, if you're all interested in that, I do have another channel where I'll be putting up hiking information and everything like that. I can't put everything on the same channel because everything I do is so completely different from each other. Like, I make soap, play poker, I hike, very much like all over the board, and things of that nature. So a couple more rounds, because then I gotta go for a little drive, get on out to where I have to go. So if you're interested in learning about wild edible plants, you can always go to my website, which will be linked in the description. And if you're interested in those type of things, health, nutrition, whatnot, I talk about those things as well. I personally need to get healthy as well. I've been slacking really hardcore, and I can't be doing that. So that being said, we'll just play some poker. So anyway, whenever I'm in the button right now, so I'm going to play another round until the big blinds come around. And after the first round of betting, of course, you know, everybody has their cards, everybody keeps them to themselves. What we're trying to do is make the best 5-card hand possible. Of course, we have our 2 cards that are dealt to us that nobody can see. I'm folding this. And then we have the 5 community cards. The 5 community cards, they're what's here. That means everybody can be sharing those. And yes, you can make a hand out of this. This could in fact be your hand as all 5 of these cards. There are times the board is the best hand out of the whole table, and the people that are still in it will be splitting based on the fact that they're playing, there's their hand, you know? So that being said, it's the best 5 cards out of the 7. You don't have to use your cards, okay? You can use up to 2 of these cards, okay, that are yours. You can't use other people's cards. That would be a really confusing thing. This is a 7-2 offsuit or 2-7 offsuit, depending on how you want to look at it. And this is known as the worst hand in poker. So it is what it is. Because there's no chance of making a flush. There's no chance of making a straight. So you already got that going. And, you know, so that really takes a lot away. I mean, of course you can win with it. We're not going to even try today. You know, sometimes you'll see the flop. And the flop is the first 3 cards after the first round of betting that the dealer deals out. And then after the flop, then everybody gets a chance to bet again. So then the next card that is flipped over, turned over, is called the turn. And then there'll be a round of betting after that. And then the last card, the fifth card that is face up on the table, community card, is known as the river. So, and there's another round of betting after that. And then of course, now again, sometimes the game will end even before the flop exists because if people like bet everybody out, go all in, everybody folds, and then it stops there and you just go to the next hand. So it is what it is, but I'm glad that we were not in this because we would have lost. I don't think that a pair of sevens would hold up against a ace and a king, and there's a set over there, so this person flopped the set. That was nice. Really good opportunity there. So let us see what we get then for the next one. Sure. Not a big fan of the 7-10. Sure, you can make a straight. If I get an 8 and a 9 and a jack or a 6. Okay. That's a lot of ifs. So if you look at the mathematical odds of that, not likely. So it's not a solid hand. I mean, granted. Sure, it's gambling. There's cards. There's probabilities. Not looking good for me. So we will not even bet a piece of gum on this one. So anyone bets anything, I am out. See, Easy E Jazzy over there is disappearing. You should look into the Easy E story. That's an interesting one. For those that can think outside the box a little bit. Just saying. We'll check. Maybe the board would be the best thing that ever happened. But I would probably say that I'm going to lose. Nice full house option out there. Anyone has a king, has a 5, has any pair. That is not me. Or a queen, you can have quads. But this person, she won. She had the best hand because they had the ace. So even though they used 4 of the community cards, they had the best kicker. They had that ace there to round out their hand. And they win. Okay? So you have to look at it like that. You can't just look at just having a pair and thinking you're going to win. You got to look at the rest of your hand. Okay? And see how it stacks up against the other players at the table. And every hand is a new opportunity. Seriously, a new opportunity. Completely mutually exclusive of the others. So no matter what happened yesterday or an hour ago or just the last hand, it's now a new game. So look at it like that. Obviously you're still dealing with the same, chips and everything like that nature, but don't go until, keep your composure, play smart, take a break, take a breath if you need to, and just go from there. And don't play when you're tired. At least that's something I should tell myself. I am terribly loose when I'm tired. I will bet on anything, and it never works out very well. Never. Losing my patience because all I want to do is sleep. So I think sometimes I'll will myself just oh, I can't believe I'm foolishly calling this. Sometimes when I talk too much, I call things I probably shouldn't either. But shh. So it's nice playing in a casino because I can't talk in a casino. I never talk in a casino, like at a table. Definitely not like Daniel Negreanu. I'm not talking like smack. I'm kind of more like Phil Ivey, just sitting there, just staring. Wow. Yay. That person was just hoping on a dream. The guess 180. Betting on a potential, trying to build up the pot, thinking that she was going to, I let that time out. What was I doing? That's not a proper way to fold things. People's time is important, so don't do stuff like that. Anyway, we're glad we're not in this hand. And as we're saying that, I can go over here because it's not going to try to kick me out. These are the winning hands. Typically, you would think royal flush, but royal flush is just this right here. It's just the top straight flush. But of course, those are the best hands, and of course, 4 of a kind. The full house. This is aces over kings, which is a lovely full house. And here is a flush. I wish they would order them, because it really goes from the top card down. So if someone had, a similar hand, say they had the, I don't know how that would be possible, but just pretend they're using 3 of these cards, okay? So they had Ace of Spades. Ooh, we'll play Big Slick. We'll talk more about that later. But anyway, we'll explain more of the details on top cards and pairings and things like that as we go. So, and then I will put one of them up as a tutorial, just going through the top hands and everything like that at some point. But right now we just playing and just kind of getting used to the whole situation. Yeah. So I'm very comfortable sitting in front of and playing poker, but sometimes you gotta do other things. We're gonna call it. We do have a really good kicker there. We do have top pair. I mean, sure, there are things that could ruin our lives, like straight, which someone could have if they have jack. I mean, 10 king rather. But we're gonna go for it. We're gonna stay in it to win it. This Gus 180, she plays really loose and she bets on anything. So I hope she doesn't have king 10, right? Oh, 8-10. Didn't even look at that one, right? So anyway, she had the straight and definitely was concerned about that, not really thinking. But anyway, now I have king 10. And I think I said I was going to be out of here for a big blind, and I'm still here. So we'll play a little bit more. We're still open the day, and we're just having a little bit of fun, going a little laid back. But you learn from these mistakes. It's nice to play for fun. It's always fun though. But it's always nice to kind of, see how different things work for you. And to so this is not working for us. Like, we really have nothing with this king 10. And even though this Gus 180, that was a pretty heavy bet considering. But, she did have the straight. And she got paid for it, so it happens. And I didn't really have a really good hand. It's really foolish to do that with the straight draws out there. We're absolutely folding that. So we'll play a couple more and just see what comes up, and then call it a night. And see what happens. So my plan is just to do, a weekly video, just like tutorials, discussing everything that is going on, and go from there and see what happens. That would have been a really big bummer if all the clubs would have come up and I would have passed on that flush. But there's still that full house possibility. There's still a possibility of quads if someone has pocket 9s. But we didn't. We just had pocket 6s. So 69 twice. Alrighty. I'm not going to make it to another thing because I do need to hit the road to go for a little bit of a drive. It's always nice to be courteous to your other players as well. Typically I will engage in a chat with them. So we'll just check this. We don't really have much going on here. I mean, yeah, we don't really have much going on here. Now, granted, we're not exactly too concerned about like someone having a straight right now because they would have to have 9-10 jack. Obviously, they don't have 3 cards. But, still, we don't really have anything with our bottom pair of 7s. And nothing really could happen out there that's going to really make life really great. A pair of 7s would be good, like if another came out, but not worth $700 or $800 to see that possibility, because the odds of having it are very, very low. Think about it, there's 52 cards in a deck, there's only 4 7s to start with. We already know I have one, there's one on the board. Not a good day. So I got the 10, folded that, had nothing, even with the jack, so it is what it is. Glad I folded. So that's a very beautiful hand, the ace 10 there with the queen, king, jack. So that was a good payoff, I guess, 237. Alright, we'll play this, and this will be the last hand. So I do encourage you, if you like learning about poker and talking about poker, talking about other random things, please subscribe to my channel and like it if you will, and make a comment, do whatever. Just be nice. Be nice to everybody. Seriously, you don't want your last minute, to be being mean to somebody. So don't be mean. Like, life is, there's more to it than I think we realize. Oh, what do I do here? I'm going to fold it. crazy as that sounds, I don't like the ace as a low kicker. I just don't feel I have it. I could be wrong, you know? And I certainly would not be betting 72.50 on a pair of aces, and that's it. Not happening. There is still 2 flush draws out there, and that would be a flush to be worried about. The heart's there. And that's really all we'd be concerned about. I mean, there is a straight draw out there because we have a 7-8 and a 10, so, you know, Jack 9, things of that nature. But that person would have beat me right there because... No, they wouldn't have, because I had 2 pair. That's a bummer, because I would have won. It doesn't matter, though. You can't win them all, right? Yeah, but still. My God, the person bet on that. That's crazy. But, you know, whatever. It worked. The ace-2 should have been there, though. But I wasn't going to pay that to see that, you know, that much for the last card. And certainly not. The person's on tilt over there in the Mr. All-Lane. After the ace-2. I mean, that was a bad play on his part, so it is what it is. So we dropped a pair of kings, but there's that flush out there, and you know the 7-9 and a jack. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm really glad we dropped that. Don't worry about a straight when there's 4 spades out there. You worry about a flush. And when there's 4 spades out there, you don't just worry about a flush. You expect it. I mean, my gosh, someone has a spade. I mean, it's possible they don't, but I'd have to say it's very likely that they do. When there's 3 people still in that hand. And he had ace-10. I mean, talk about having a nut flush. That's beautiful. That person calling with a 3 of spades, a little foolish. But it is what it is. I mean, he called, though, a bet of 5,000 for the 6-3 offsuit, so I don't think he's thinking too much. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a really good day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and definitely be kind to animals, for sure. All right, out.